love how you just like so casually like, yeah, cool, let's go dig up a budgie. Dead budgie. And then the reality hit.
It's like that budgie's been dead for a while. It's probably not going to look good. You didn't find it, thank God.
Welcome to the Wild Roads. I'm Shonah
And I'm Paula Ivy. Join us for conversations about how we don't do stuff normal.
how we choose the wild roads of life. We want to show you all that's fun and possible, building businesses, making money,
Navigating relationships and parenting, things we nerd out about.
and running at our wildest dreams.
Let's just talk about that, hey?
Fuck oath, yes. Let's do it.
Okay. Okay. I've got a question for you, Shonah.
All right, hit me with it.
Shonah, we both grew up with brothers. What is the most annoying thing your brother used to do to you as a kid?
Which one? Oh my God, what did he used to do? What always come to me, for some reason, we always did the dishes together, one washed and one dried. And we'd just annoy the heck out of each other. Like we just couldn't do it without fighting. And the funniest thing and the weirdest thing, I used to always say when I was a kid and a teenager, I was allergic to doing the dishes. And I actually really meant it, because every time I did the dishes, right, every time I did the dishes, wash them, I would get really itchy feet, like midges were biting my feet.
Oh.
And I'd say, I'm literally allergic to doing the dishes. I can't do this. Like it was really irritating. And so, and like my brother's like, yeah, whatever. Like, but and I assume that it's the hot water on my hands and some kind of circulation thing. I don't know. I've never looked into it, but it actually physically really did that. But I would be so agitated by it that every little thing that my brother did would just annoy me. Like his breathing annoyed me. Like, you know. And he'd get a little bit close and his arm would go against mine or something while he's drying the dishes. And I'm just like, oh, this is so bad, right? And he would feel that annoyance. And so he would get the dishes and he'd go, you didn't wash that properly, bang, in the sink it went. And then the water would just like splash up on me, like, you know, and the soap suds, right? And then so I'm washing it again. And I pass it to him really furiously, like, here. And then he'd dry it. No, still not washed properly, bang, in it goes again, right? And then it'd be on. It would be on. And then I'd be like karate chopping the water so it splashes all up on him, right? And then he'd be flicking me with the tea towel. And then the knives came out because we're washing knives. It's like, I'll stab you. Like, it got like messy. And we would hate each other to wash the dishes. Why we didn't just decide to take in turns washing the dishes and not do it together, it's beside me. But then, like, we were the bestest of friends. Well, probably not as teenagers. We were probably more like acquaintances, but loved each other and, you know, had each other's backs at school and stuff. But after school, we were best friends. Or I'd be reading in my room and he'd be playing his soprano saxophone so loud.
My brother played the saxophone too.
Oh, get out. That's hilarious. Oh my God. That's so funny.
How funny.
Yeah.
That is hilarious.
I know. And it's just like, shut up. And he's like, nah, I'm just going to play my saxophone really loud. Oh my God. My God.
That is hilarious.
It is hilarious. Tell me about you and your brother.
We didn't really like each other much when we were growing up. The things that he would do the most, because he was always like, he's a lot taller than me.
Yeah.
He's like 2 heads taller than me. Like he's super tall. He got all the tall genes. And so he was always, he was 3 years older than me. So 3 years when you're a kid is like a big difference size wise anyway.
Yeah.
But he was always much taller than me. And yeah, so he'd either like his favorite thing was he had 2 favorite things that he used to torture me with. First one, he would always pin me down and sit on me.
Oh God, yeah.
I'm like why? Like just sit on me. Just And I'll be like, yeah. And he's like, nah. And the other thing was like you wouldn't be doing anything. Like sitting just watching TV or sitting just coloring in or something.
Yeah.
And he'd just be there and then he'd just like randomly punch me for no reason and then just go about his day. And I'm like, Mom, Daniel punched me. And her response was always, don't annoy him then. And I'm like, I can't.
Oh,
no.
no.
She was like, I can't even be bothered with that. Just
yeah,
stop
exactly.
annoying him
Sort yourselves out.
Stop. I'm like, I didn't do anything. He punched me. So, yeah, maybe I was the one that was breathing annoyingly or something.
Yeah, maybe you were.
Because you were the older sibling.
Yeah, I'm the oldest. So there's just under 2 years apart.
Yeah, see, he's the older sibling too. So maybe the younger siblings have breathing issues or something. But like, they were his 2 favorite things to do.
Oh God, it's funny.
Let's talk about like it's school holidays and we have 2 very different age groups that we're dealing with here.
Yeah.
I've got a 7 and a 5-year-old and you have teenagers.
Yeah.
And here currently in Sydney, we are in lockdown. So
that's tough.
We are inside of the house most of the time.
Yep.
And it's so interesting because when we were traveling around Australia, we were with each other 24/7. And I feel like we fought less, or the kids fought less than what they do now. Granted, like they're a few years older now. And my 5-year-old, my son, he's a lot less like just follow what my daughter would tell him to do. She's always been like the director and like, we're going to do this now and this is how it's going to play out. And he would always be like, okay. Yeah, cool, okay. Whereas now he's got more of a voice and he's like, no.
See,
I don't want to like that.
See, your poor Harper, she didn't get very long with that. I got to about 13 and 11 with my brother.
A long time. But I feel like now that they're back at like in school and they don't see each other for most of the 5 days of the week, that when they come together, they play really well together still. Yeah. And they're able to like sort of communicate and like, you know, negotiate and all of that sort of stuff. But now in school holidays, they're with each other 24/7. It's kind of like they'll play really beautifully and the next minute it's like it's full on sibling rivalry. And like how different is when you fight with a sibling?
It's intense.
You would not do that to a friend or to like anybody else
human.
But your brother or sister.
You get charged with verbal abuse for this stuff. All the things, physical abuse sometimes.
All the abuse.
Oh my God! But isn't it funny because it's hard work as mums or parents, as dads. It's hard work, but it's when you see their bond that when they're not wanting to kill each other, that you see their bond and it's just like, oh my God, it gets you in the heart where nothing else gets you in the heart. Like, it's beautiful.
Yeah, there'll be moments where like you'll just be walking along and they're holding hands and they're giggling to each other and you're like, that is the sweetest thing ever. And then like literally 2 seconds later they're scratching each other's eyeballs out and they're like smacking it. And I'm like, I'm like, where is this violence coming from? We don't hit.
No.
We don't discipline in that way. That's a choice that we've made, is that like we're not physical with our kids.
Yeah.
I'm like, why are you hitting how do you even know to hit somebody? Like, seriously, what's going on? But I think it's just like a what's it called? Like a rite of passage or something as being a sibling.
Yeah.
They're kind of like the person that you can let it all out and go full on and test boundaries with and know that like a minute later you're going to be best friends again.
Absolutely. It's like a progression. You've learnt it from a very young age that if I push my boundaries, we're still going to be okay. And then if I push a little further, we're still going to be okay. And if I punch the shit out of you, we're still going to be okay.
It's different once you get older, but like when you're little.
Yeah.
And it's so, it just, they're at that age where like, they're just reminding me of like all the stuff, growing up with my brothers, like what used to happen. And I was like, I kind of forgot that we were like that.
Exactly.
We used to wrestle and punch each other and do stuff to each other that actually physically hurt. When Chinese burns.
Oh,
that was another one of my brother's favorite, because like he would always do them so hard.
Chinese burns. And the tea towel flick. Man, that stung. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
like
the tea towel flick. Yeah, and I was so shit at it.
So was I.
I couldn't get the whip.
No, I couldn't get the whip either.
So good. And also the other thing that we used to do was get like a rubber band and fold up a tiny piece of paper and just flick it at each other, because it's so small you can hide it quite quickly from Mum. And she's like, "What are you doing?" You're like, "Ah!" He flicked me, and it's like on the other side of the room, and she's like, "No, what are you doing?"
Yeah, she didn't see it. Oh, and corkies. Do you remember corkies?
What's corkies?
When you get corked, like it's.
Nah.
I'm pretty sure I'm saying it right, but it's like you hold your fist right, but your middle knuckle comes out like a little bit further, and you punch, but only the knuckle bit goes, and it gets you in deep. And it's like, oh, you can't breathe. It's like, oh, you ever heard like the footballers like get corked or something? Like, it's a corky. It's that. And it's like, you get full on bruise from it, but it's painful.
Oh.
But not enough. It's not painful enough that you don't chase after them. Like you're all good. Yeah, you still run at them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We used to bite each other like it was savage. And I see my kids doing that. I'm like, why are you even biting each other? Like, what even is this?
Do you know what I used to do? This is the best conversation ever. We used to have this shower, right? So we had this shower that obviously it's all blocked off, like with timber paneling on the back, like it was so 80s stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And we had the bath behind it, so you could actually stand on the bath and like touch the top of the shower thing, and like you have a shower like curtain, so all privacy, it's all fine. But I used to sneak into the bathroom when my brother was in the shower with a cold water bucket, and I'd step up on the bath and like just wait for the right moment. Then I'd tip all the cold water over the top of the shower, and his scream was priceless. It was the best. I'd do this for years, right? And it was always unexpected. I'd do it like every 6 months or 8 months or something. Oh God, it was the best. But then he started getting me back, and I stopped doing that. The stuff you do.
It's just so funny, the things you think about doing with your siblings. Like, there's the most random things that because I suppose because you spend so much time together, it's kind of like to think up something new and interesting to do.
I know.
Like, it takes some imagination, because I remember with my brother, right? So he had growing up, he had a budgerigar as a pet that he absolutely loved. Bless him.
Yeah.
And he named it Marcus, who was his best friend at the time. So that was super cute too. The budgie died because they don't live very long. And so anyway, we had a whole thing and we buried the budgie in the backyard. And I remember like, it must have been like a year later or something. My brother's gone, he's like, I need to go dig up Marcus. And I was like, what? And he goes, I miss him. Let's go dig him up and find him. And I was like, okay. Because like I was like, cool, let's go dig up the dead budgie.
Yeah.
And like we started digging this hole where we thought it was. And like we dug a pretty big hole, right? And my mum comes running over and she's like, what are you doing? You're digging up my garden. And I was like, oh, we're trying to find Marcus. And Daniel was like, no, shut up, don't. And Mum was like horrified. And she was like, don't dig it up. It's going to be all like maggot infested and bones and be all eaten away. And she's like painting this graphic picture of what the budgie's going to be looking like. And I was standing there, I was like, I don't want to do that. I was like, I'm out.
I love how you just like so casually like, yeah, cool, let's go dig up a budgie. Dead budgie. And then the reality hit. It's
like that budgie's been dead for a while. It's probably not going to look good. We didn't find it, thank God.
Oh God.
But that was hilarious. It's like, how do you even think up to do stuff like that though? Like the games, I see the games my kids make up together and they make no sense whatsoever to like a grown person.
Yeah.
But to them, it's so in depth and it's like the best game ever and it's so fun. And I'm like, how did you even think up this like whole storyline and this concept and this thing that you're doing right now? They're like, I don't know, I just thought of it. I think so it's like funny. You can actually hear mine now. FYI, it is school holidays and it is lockdown.
In Sydney,
yes. You bribed them with snacks and a movie and obviously that hasn't lasted long. So there might be sounds in the background.
That's all right. We love the kids.
But that's all good.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how are your kids these?
They're good. They're good. They're so my kids are really, they're a lot older than your kids. So my youngest is 17 and my oldest is 19. He's come to stay with us for a while. So he moved out to his dad's and he sort of comes and goes between houses, but it's not like week on, week off like what we used to do. Because he's an adult now, he just basically just chooses and he hasn't gone out fully on his own. But I have my bonus daughter, Saffron, as well. So she's 16 and she's home with us as well. And Levi's at uni, but he's home for the holidays. He's sort of coming in and out as well. So they kind of keep to themselves. But siblings, like the stepkids, like they all get along so well and they're so respectful of each other. None of them fight at all. Yeah. But my two, oh my goodness. Like
so it doesn't stop.
It's like Harry, stop looking at me. Like, and like, but Harry, my son, he knows how to really push Indiana, my daughter's buttons. Like Indy's just really like, it doesn't take much because he's breathing, like, the same as what we went through. Yeah. And they're just like, I was standing in the kitchen the other day and they're at the fridge and I'm just like, guys, like, I can't believe I still have to tell you to stop picking on each other, stop doing this, but they just like, they're not stopping. But in saying that, they're pretty good. Like they celebrate each other's wins. They'll go and like, if something exciting has happened, like they'll go into each other's room and say, guess what just happened? Like they're really cool, they're cool. But I think because we were in lockdown last year, there was a lot. We've got some kind of resilience and they've worked out another way to coexist now. But when they were littler, they used to love each other or absolutely just despise each other.
Yeah.
And, be lots of fights. But then there was lots of laughter and giggling and always playing games together. But yeah,
It's a special kind of love that's not unlike anything else. Hey.
No, it is.
And speaking of which,
special.
I have one with me right now.
Your kids are adorable. I absolutely love them. They do remind me of my two, except the gender's the other way around. But But when we were at Airlie Beach, like your two littlies, they were so reminded me of mine when they were that age. Just really sticking together when they were in a foreign place amongst foreign people, like people that they didn't know. They just stuck together and were just really comforting each other. It was so precious. It was beautiful.
It is beautiful. And I noticed that a lot when we were traveling, that they stuck together, and they we would often go for bushwalks or hikes or whatever. Yeah. And they'll be holding hands most of the way, because it would be like, okay, we're going to this new place. We don't know where we're going. It's going to be fun. And they were all for the adventure. But it was just those little, you're right. It's like that little, like, I'm here. I gotcha. We'll do this together.
Exactly.
And that's the beauty of it. I know not everybody will have the same experience with a sibling, though. I do feel like the gift in having a sibling is like, you've got somebody there who, through all of the emotions and stuff, it's just unconditional love. And it's like, you can't get that. you don't get that same support from like a parent, even though your parents going to give you all the love and all the support that they possibly can. It's different when it's a sibling, that's somebody close to your own age, that you can experience, your generation together.
Yeah.
Growing up, experiencing the experiences. Because there were things that happened that I would tell my brother that I would never tell my mom and dad.
Yeah.
And like questions I could ask him that I could never ask them either. So I think even though when we were really young, we didn't actually get along so well. It was mostly fighting.
Yeah.
Some moments of like being cool with each other. But as we grew older, we grew closer, which was amazing.
Yeah.
By the time we were like, late teens, early 20s, we've been close ever since. So it's really amazing to have somebody that like you can also cut the BS with. Like you can be so upfront and honest with them. And like, that it's no judgment. It's no like niceties to like, because what they'll think of me and all that sort of stuff. Because they're your sibling. They've got you for life.
That's right. Like. That's it. Exactly. And you know what? We've had tough times. My brother and I, my brother Clint, we've had tough times. And even, when he was 19, and we just, sometimes we just went apart and then we just came back together. We've probably been in our adult life, we've been so close just because we actually are sharing our darkest moments. Like there's lyrics from the John Butler song called Ragged Mile. And he says, I'll be there in your finest hour. I'll be there when it all turns sour. I've caught your falls, I've helped you rise. I'll dam these torrents from your eyes. Like that is my song for my brother. That's exactly what it is. I'll be there, it's just like, I'll be there in the darkest hour. Like it's just that it's true. Like Clint comes to me first when things are really tough. And he comes to me first when he's celebrating the best thing in his life. And I'm there for all of it. There is so much unconditional love that he cannot sway me either way. I will always be there. And I think that sometimes that takes work. Like it could have been easy for us to really go on our separate ways and not come back together. It could have been like, it's, you have friends, you have other relationships, you have partners, you have, it would have been easy to do that. But we actually we decided, I think, that we wanted to work on our sibling relationship when we were mature and not wanting to hit each other and just absolute torture each other to that. I think it was it was never said, but it was a conscious decision of, yes, let's work at this. And then it didn't take much. It didn't take much for us to go, okay, I trust you with my life as an adult. You have that unconditionally as a kid, but, well, I did. As an adult, I can now say, yes, that, yeah, it's 100% full trust. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, well, there were 3 of us growing up. I had a brother who passed away when I was 12, and my older brother would have been 15 when it happened. And our younger brother was 9. And even though he was the youngest, he was like the mediator between me and Daniel, me and my older brother, because we fought all the time. And then our younger brother, Chris, he was like best mates with both of us. Yeah. And it was kind of like after he passed away, I remember it was like this moment of like, life's way too short to be like not like only fighting. So there was, I remember it was really cool because like the day after it happened, I remember waking up and he was on, like he had slept on my bedroom floor. I'm going to cry.
I'm already crying.
Oh, God. Oh, because like, yeah, like that was a whole thing. Because like he would never come and like sleep in my room or anything before that. And I remember waking up and I was like, oh, like, why are you sleeping on my floor? And he's like, well, because he shared a room with him. He was like, I couldn't sleep in that room.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
And he also said, I wanted to make sure you're okay.
Oh. Ah, shit, guys. I don't know. Yeah.
How did this turn into a subfest? Fucking brothers.
No, they fucking break your heart. That's what they do.
They torment you, but it's also like,
it's beautiful.
The greatest gift. I know not everybody has siblings.
That's right.
I know not everybody has these sorts of relationships with siblings, but it's just like, yeah, my experience is like, it's a relationship that you kind of can throw anything at it.
Yeah.
And you kind of, it's always something solid for me.
Yes, me too.
I always have.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for that.
Oh, same here. Same here. Same here. And I don't know, I just even know what it would be like to go through what you went through, but I know my gratitude to have my brother that I have. And we're getting a tattoo that's the same. Did I tell you that? Yeah, we're getting matching tattoos and they're anchors. So Clint's designed them because we've always said that we're each other's anchor.
That is so cool.
To hold us steady, you know.
Yeah.
To hold us steady. We're the sails, but we're our own sails that, you know, just to make us, but each other, we're each other's anchor to steady us when we need steadying and to hold us still and to ground us. So yeah, that's what we're doing. So, which will be lovely.
Oh, I want to tattoo with my brother.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go message him and see if he wants to go get tattoos.
He might say, can we get Marcus?
Can we get what?
Marcus.
Marcus. Can we get a budgie tattoo of like a decomposed?
No. Yeah. Oh, Paula, so beautiful, so beautiful. So yeah, but so when in these times of school holidays, it's like it can drive you absolutely freaking bananas. But at the same time, it's like it's such a blip in our life. Like it's a small, tiny, weeny part. And I know that this is probably my last year of school holidays when they're all in the same house, which,
oh, Sean,
it's just,
yeah.
like, I'm grateful that Harry's home right now. Like he did when he sort of left the coop and was flying his own wings. And that was the hardest, to let go of that as a mum.
Yeah.
And Indy missed him too, and then she'd go home to her dad's and he was there, and then they, reconnected. It's just beautiful. But this feeling of my family and having the kids, and they're fighting and they're driving me nuts, or they're playing their music really loud in the shower and I'm trying to work and all of that, and I'm trying to do things and it's just like, this isn't forever. Like, this is so short. So short. And I remember my two being Harper and Bodhi's age. Like, I remember that like it was yesterday.
Oh.
And I'm just like, I remember those little hands holding my hand and those hugs that were so deep in your neck.
Yeah.
I don't get that anymore. That's gone for me. That ship sailed. It was just like, that's when I'm like, breathe and embrace these school holidays. It's just like, that's when I'm just like, I have to remind myself. I don't have to tell them how to be. I need to remind myself how to be.
Yes. That's the thing, because I feel like, as much as like when they're fighting, I want to step in and be like, love and kindness, everybody.
Yeah.
There's so much anger in the world. We don't need more here. Like, my hippie mum wants to step up and be all love and kindness in any moment. But I have to kind of, like, I've gotten to a point, like, yes, if they're physically hurting each other, that is unacceptable.
That's right.
But like just reminding myself of like my relationship with my siblings when I was young. I was like, they're some of my fondest memories, even though we hurt each other physically. Like, us, like, next moment we'll be rolling around in the floor in hysterics because someone farted, or like something ridiculous happened. Somebody told a joke, whatever it was. And it was like the moments that, like, being able to navigate that, and just like being able to rough and tumble and be a bit physical with one another, and like one another, and test things and all that sort of stuff. It was like, to allow them to build that bond with each other, and sort of like, even though this is a funny thing to say, but even though it gets a bit wild and you're like physically abusing each other, there's also that trust that builds between you two.
Yes.
You're not going to take it far enough that something seriously is going to happen.
That's right.
But you're kind of doing it in a way that's helping you both release some like energy and to like self-regulate again. And not to have it be a thing that drives you apart. It actually, in a weird way, it brings you closer together. Yeah.
In our experience, for sure.
But it's kind of, it's kind of like allowing them to sort of navigate that too, to a degree. I mean, I know they're still young, and there are certain things that I'm like, that's not okay. Because they're going to learn that. I said to my daughter the other day, and she'd never heard the expression before. And it was kind of like, when I said it, I was like, oh, I sounded like my mom for a second there. Because like, I had said, can you please get dressed, or something like a normal thing, a request for them to do in the morning for us to be able to progress with our day. Like, I know we're in lockdown and all the things, but like I was going to take them outside, do some exercise, all that sort of stuff. And I was like, oh, can you please get dressed? And she turned around and she's like, can you please get dressed? Like this at me. I was like, don't back chat me. I was like, and she's like, what's back chat? And I'm like, well, when you say something back to someone. And she's like, yeah, like we're doing now. Like, you say something, then I say something.
Yeah.
And I was like, Yeah, not a conversation, but like a back chat. And she's like, what's the difference? And I'm like, well, it's when you kind of like throwing it back in their face. And she's like, what does that mean? And I was like, I don't know how to explain it. It's so funny because you're like,
yeah,
I don't even know that, like, when I was told that I was back chatting, like what that actually even meant.
yeah.
Like
I'm
when you're
trying
a
to
kid,
think
you're
of the
like, what does that
word.
mean? I don't know. I don't care. Like,
That's it. Mocking.
Well,
Is
even that should be like, what's
that.
mocking?
Yeah, that's it. How do you even explain that?
It's so funny, the questions that they ask. And I'm like, I don't know how to actually explain that.
You know, I had to pull myself up when I was parenting at one stage. That was kind of like, it was a moment that I had with my son that obviously he was, just really retaliating. And I said, don't be smart. And I went,
isn't that funny?
Whoa.
Because I got that a lot. Don't be smart.
Yeah, don't be smart. And then I was just like, what did I just say to him? Like, it was obviously conditioning. I don't think I've heard my mum and dad say it, but it was from somebody. It was from an elder or somebody that I grew up with. Could have been a teacher. It could have been a principal. Yeah, don't be smart with me.
Don't be smarter than me right now. Don't do it. Because if you're smarter than me right now, you're going to have consequences. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. And I
the
had
funny
to go,
sayings.
Holy shit, what I just had. I had to undo that. For me, it probably went over Harry's head. He was 7 at the time, or 8 at the time, or something. I don't know. But probably went over his head. But I really wanted to uncondition that, because that was the wrong thing to say.
Yeah.
Far out. And just, because the thing is, though, I had to really do some just some inner work on myself as well, not to beat myself up about how I parented too, because definitely I wanted to be the best parent in the world there was.
Oh, we all do. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. But it's kind of like I had to,
and we all are until we have kids.
Exactly. Oh my God, yes. Yes. Oh yeah, I was the best parent in the world, and then I had mine. And then but the thing is, it's like, somebody said to me once, and it really stuck with me. It's just like, well, our children are learning to be 7-year-olds. We're learning to be parents of 7-year-olds.
Yeah.
And it was just like, took the pressure off a little bit. It's just like, I'm doing the best I can, but I am going to make mistakes. And it was just, and then as a parent, as an 18-year-old, I'm actually saying that to myself, right, or 19-year-old, saying that to myself right now is just like, well, he's learning to be a 19-year-old. I'm learning to be a parent of a 19-year-old. It's a whole new ball game again.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like you're less parenting, but you're shaping an adult still.
Yeah.
Like it's, so it's just
guiding
like,
them.
Guiding them.
Yeah.
And it's just,
that just like blew my mind, because it is, you got, like, once you become a parent, it's not like, okay, cool, I'm a parent now, I know what to do.
I'm everything.
I'm in charge. I know the things.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But you're actually learning how to parent at each stage for each child too. Because being the parent of a 19-year-old boy is different from being a parent of a 19-year-old girl. But then, not everybody's the same either.
That's it.
Like, it doesn't matter. Like, yeah.
And I think it's really helped me with my kids, with that, learning that from a when they were young. I heard that it really helped our relationship, because I would actually say that, like, if I messed up, I would say, I'm so sorry, Indy. Like, I'd go and apologize, and we'd talk about what just transpired or what happened. I'd say, I'm still learning to be a mum at this age as well. And it really opened them up for compassion for me. And it was just like, if I stuffed up, it was over really quickly, and we'd talk about it or whatever. But they didn't see me as a perfect parent, so that if I messed up, they held me accountable, and they're never going to forget it. Like, that it really helped that. And I can see that with other with other families that are around me, or, you know, school families that had that with their children, where it's just like they stuffed up and they just will never forget it. Like, you're a bad parent because look what you did, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because and I can see it, like, looking back on my childhood, and whenever I was like a smart ass or talking back, and all of that sort of stuff,
you're being smart,
you know. Like, my parents would often say things like, because I said so, and it's like, well, why did you say so? And they're like, because I just said. And it's kind of like, oh, they didn't have an answer because they didn't know. Like, they were learning like what to actually insert there, so they needed a breather, and they're like, I just said so, just go do it.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
That's what I just said, just do it. And I found myself a couple of times more recently, actually, be really aware that I had said that. I said, oh, just because I asked you to. And they're like, yeah, but why? And I'm like, oh, actually, like, they're quite valid in asking me why.
That's right. Yeah.
Not just to shrug it off and be like, yeah, just go do it because I said so.
Yeah.
Like, just actually go, oh, okay, well, actually, why am I asking you to do this? Why did I say that? Why is that the rule right now? Why did I, like, was it because I had, you know, there was a reason, like we had to get somewhere on time? Or was it because I just said it out of like force of habit, or it just came out of nowhere, and I'm like, yeah, this is just what we do now, like, sort of thing, without even consciously choosing, okay, this is what we're going to do now, this is our plan, this is what we'll do.
That's right, exactly. And the follow on is just like, because it's the right thing to do. And
the right,
you know what I mean? Because it's the right thing to do. And then it's just like, you know, but why is it the right thing to do? There has to be this conversation.
Yeah. How many times as an adult are you searching for the right thing to do? Because
I know
you always got to do the right thing.
I know.
And you're like, but I don't know what the right thing is.
Exactly.
And the truth is, there are many different right things right now.
Exactly.
There's not just one.
That's it. That's
many. And you're allowed to pick one. Whatever feels good for you. Like, exactly. It's so funny, the things, like, when you look at them, the things that you automatically say, or like without even thinking, they're just like a roll of the tongue response to something. And you're like, why do I actually say that?
Societal norms.
Like,
yeah. It's very interesting. And that's the big, massive part about parenting and education, is have these discussions even if you don't know it, and work out what sits really well with you as a family, because our kids aren't born knowing everything, and there's so much pressure for them to actually know what the right thing to do is, or
without a fully developed brain.
Exactly. And if we're still learning, at me 45, if I'm still learning, why am I expecting my 3-year-old to know these things? That just doesn't make sense. So, you know, there's all that.
I found that I get such beautiful responses and actions from my children when I tell them that I don't know something.
Yeah. Isn't it awesome?
If instead of trying to make stuff up and like pretending like I know because I'm the parent, I should know everything. If I say, actually, I don't know. And I say, what do you reckon? Like, like, let's find, like, do you want to find out the answer? We can, like, often they're like, yeah, just ask Siri, because, you know, Siri's is easy. But also it's beautiful because then we get to find out together whether we use Siri or whatever. But it really, it feels like it takes the pressure off me having to be the parent that is responsible and that knows everything and is super smart and, you know, all of that sort of stuff. Like, it's, and just being like a human being going, you know what, like, no human knows everything about everything.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. And sometimes it switches on other parts of them as well. Like, it switched on Harry's masculine. Like, he wanted to help me find a solution.
Oh, I
and
love that.
he was just like, I'm going to look after you, Mum. I'm going to find it for you. I'm going to find you the solution and the answer to that. So then you know. And so he went into solution masculine, finding a solution, but problem solving as well.
Do you know what? My son does that.
Yeah.
And he's only 5. But it would be more like, not so much with like finding out answers to things like in books and stuff like that. Well, actually, no, there actually was a question that I have a beautiful example of this.
Awesome.
We were talking about animals, and I think for some reason we were talking about the differences between octopus and squid. Like, what are the differences between an octopus and a squid? I can't remember if one of the kids asked the question or if it was in a book or whatever the thing was.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, what do you guys reckon the differences between octopuses and or octopi and squid? I'm pretty sure it's not octopuses, it's octopi. I might have to Google it though. But yeah, we were coming up with like, like the shape and all this sort of stuff. And the number of legs, like we know it's an octopus if it's got 8 legs. And then my son asked, he goes, how many legs does a squid have? And I was like, you know what? I don't know. That's a really good question. I said, should we find out the answer? And he just went, I know. And he like ran off, and he's got a big book of animals.
Yeah.
And he pulls out his book. He's like, Mum, I've seen a squid in this book. Let me have a look. And he pulled it over and he like went through the pages and he found a squid and he's like, oh, okay, here it is. And I'm pretty sure it has 10 legs.
Wow.
10, like not legs, but like things.
Flappy things.
Flappy things. Well, that's what we counted. And then like it was just beautiful. And there's been times where like I'll be physically trying to do something, like I'll be trying to fix something or I'll try to open something. And like, he will be like, oh, I can do it. Give it to me. And he'll like try things.
Yes. That's like, his masculines turn on, even though
he'll go find scissors and try and cut something open for me. Or he'll like, he'll find like a door and like jam it in and try and rip it open using the door. Like he's really creative in that sort of thing.
Yeah. It's beautiful. And as they get older, when you see your teenage son, when he wants to, okay, here's my recent experience. Not so pretty, not so beautiful, but he wanted to open a champagne bottle for me because I couldn't. Like,
they are hard,
but they are hard. And so he's like, here, give it to me, Mum. Like, and there was just that masculine kind of thing. It's just beautiful. It's so lovely. But I find like for Indy, it's just like, well, do you want to find out together? Because I don't know. And it's just like, no, I'm fine. I'm just telling you I don't know. Like, it's like she doesn't.
Cool.
Yeah,
we don't know.
We don't know. It's fine. I'm just telling you. But anyway, it's very interesting to see how that develops too. And I, as a mum, I can see it now. But when my brother was like that with me, I never appreciated it. And I know he was at times. He would look after me in his masculine.
Yes.
And I never appreciated that at all. It was just like, no, I want to beat you. Like, I want to beat you at this thing, I want to win. Exactly. So it's very interesting.
Yeah. Shout out to our brothers.
Yes.
Yes. Amazing.
It's my brother's birthday tomorrow. So I'm trying to work out what I'm going to send him. And it's interesting because I thought, I wonder if he's ever been sent flowers before. And I thought, I'm actually going to do that.
Probably not.
And I can say that now because by the time this is up, it would already have been and gone.
And if you didn't send him flowers, he will be giving you a phone call right now.
He will.
Sean, you said on like a podcast out in the public, you were going to send me flowers. Where the hell are they, Sean? Send me my fucking flowers.
Oh, exactly. He would love it. I know he would love it. He'll put them on his kitchen bench. He'll absolutely he'll display them. He'll make a thing of it, which I think that'll be really nice. So I'll do that.
Do you know what? before my brother left, this was quite a few years ago. My brother left to go live in Canada for quite a few years.
Oh,
and
that's
as
hard.
a going away present, I was racking my brain because I was like, okay, he's leaving on a plane with just a backpack. I can't get him something physical that he has to feel like he has to take with him.
Yeah.
He's pretty much got all the stuff that he will need to survive anyway.
Yeah.
What I don't know. So I ended up, and he absolutely loved it. I ended up taking us to a fancy spa in the city, and I brought him to have like a massage at a fancy spa where they use like the salt scrubs and like do the facial and everything.
Oh, wow.
And he's like he's a very tall, masculine dude.
Yeah.
So for him, I was like, it's a bit out there, but he's always up to give stuff a go.
Awesome.
And I was like, it's either something that he's going to be like, Paula, what the fuck? Seriously. Or be like, yeah, sure, let's do this. And he was like, when I gave it to him, at first he was kind of like, and I was like, yeah, because you're about to get on a plane, you're about to go traveling, you're going to be a backpacker for a while, you don't know where you're going to live.
Yes.
Like, nice way to go. Be all relaxed. You might be a bit nervous about leaving the country and living away from everybody for a while. And like,
yeah.
And he was like, yeah, and he loved it.
Did he? That's cool idea. That's
It was something really cool
idea
that we did together. Like I had a massage in a different room, but like,
yeah, that was so cool.
And then afterwards we sat in robes like and drank tea. I was like, we've never done that before. It was just so fun.
God, that's the best experience to have with your brother.
That's
the best. Oh my God, that's hilarious. Do you know what we did? We're probably, how long are we being on for? But anyway,
I don't know.
Do you know, just quickly, my brother actually, like not that long ago, it was in March of this year.
Yeah.
Was it in March? Yeah. That he
I don't know. This year is kind of like,
oh, far out, mate. Is it a year? I don't even know. It's just,
I think. Oh.
Do we even sleep? I don't know. But so I was in Cairns. He sheltered me a night on Fitzroy Island, and it was just him and I. And we went we went to a swim up bar, and we had fun and videoing each other and having cocktails like a lot. And then it was we just had the most epic night. We had, D&M discussions, and we had to the bed. we had two single beds, but we had to push them together because the place only had one blanket and it was freezing. they had what's it called, like the air conditioning was on, like, and I'm a frog, so I love Cairns, yeah, and I love the heat, and so even when we turned it off, it was just still freezing anyway. So we put the things together, and we shared this blanket, and we had like a pillow fort, just because you can't
can't touch.
No, you can't touch.
Don't breathe on me.
Yeah, exactly.
Face away.
Exactly. And these 40-year-old bloody plus siblings friggin' still laughing at our farts, like,
My brother still does pull my finger. And he goes, pull my finger. I'm like, no, dude. But now that I've got kids, he asks, like, whenever we've seen him, we've had the kids, and he's like, hey, Harper, pull my finger, baby, pull my finger. And they think it's the funniest thing in the world. But he will still ask me.
Oh,
like, I know exactly what's going to happen, and I don't want to.
But I bet you still do it.
I do sometimes.
Yeah. See? Oh God, it's fun. It's fun. This is the best. Great combo.
This was a very cathartic episode.
It was very cathartic. I'm gonna go message my brother.
I am too.
Yeah.
Because there's no love like sibling love. It's a whole situation in and of itself.
It really is. It really is.
Such an amazing gift. So
yeah. Well, chick, I hope you're surviving. You will survive. How long have we got for school holidays? Not long.
Well,
you guys might not be going back to school.
Announced another week of lockdown.
Okay.
Which I don't know. See, we've accidentally ran into other people on our exercise walks and stuff like that, just in passing. And like the majority of people are saying, I cannot wait until next week because like, you know, they can go back to school and all of the things.
Yeah.
And then like, yeah, there's like a school group chat with all the parents and they're like, oh my God, another week. And I was like, even though the kids fight a lot now, I'm like, I'm kind of glad because I don't like doing school drop-offs and pickups. And I love just watching them together and allowing them to have that time together, even though there's some moments where I'm like, okay, you guys need to like have some time apart right now.
Yeah.
Like, this is not working. So we do have an extended holidays this time. So, but I told my daughter today, I was like, guess what? No more school next, you got another week off school. And she was like, yeah. She doesn't like school.
Nah. Oh no, my daughter did exactly the same. It's just like, can we please have this pandemic for the rest of the year? Like that was last year, you know, in March. She's just like did not want to go. And lucky for her, we're in Victoria.
The kids are all for it. They're like, I don't care. I don't go to school. I get to play every day, which is what kids should be doing. But that's a topic for another.
That is another topic for another day. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Thank you for this.
And
let us know if you're watching this on the YouTube, because I'm pretty sure we concluded that you can't write comments on a podcast. Hashtag awkward question. What was the hashtag we're going to call this?
Well, yeah, it was awkward, wasn't it? Awkward question. Oh, awkward hang on.
Question time.
Something. Oh, awkward question time. That's what it was. We've got the best memory.
Time. If you're watching this on the YouTubes or you want to share your hashtag awkward question on the socials, hashtag it in and tag us in. Because we love to hear what your answers are to these questions that we asked each other at the beginning of the podcast.
So fun.
What is like the most annoying thing your siblings have ever done? Like, what are the annoying things that siblings do to one another?
Yes.
We want to know.
Absolutely. Young, old, or otherwise.
Yeah. What's otherwise?
I don't know. I just made that up. Maybe that's in between. Maybe they annoy you because they haven't been born yet. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
See you next week. I love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.